Hey everybody, it is Hugh with Hugh Jass RV Repair. Today we're working on Don's Monaco Camelot. So there's a lot of little stuff that comes up when owning an older Class A diesel, especially on these older Monacos. They are very well built, however there's some things that might pop up where you'd be stuck, and this is one of them. Let me show you. So I was going to open the slide and I heard a boof. And the slide went sideways, and as you can see there's hydraulic oil everywhere. And this is the hydraulic fitting for the slide ram here on the rear of the front driver's side slide. And this hose blew out of this fitting. Now they compressed this with like a 30-ton press, so it took some doing, and the rest of that hose is somewhere down in there. But it's possible when they first made this, it just was a bad crimp to begin with, but it lasted about 18 years. So the dilemma on this is, it's a $25 fitting, and it's 50 bucks worth of time at a hydraulic shop to press this. But that hose is routed up under the frame here. Now here's our hose, which I cut off and capped with a screw. And then I'm back feeding it in the belly here, and then where it goes up in there, oof, you can see there's no room to get at anything because the water tank here is in the way. And if I were to pull this big panel in the middle and this one, well, probably just that one, gives me a little room to reach over there up against the water tank. But then I'm up against the diesel tank, and they're all the way in the middle of the frame up under there, about 6 feet away. And now, this is the fun part. This is where a $25 fitting turns into a 2-day project, because nobody considers the fact that a lot of this stuff was built before other things around it went in. And it's all zip tied throughout the frame. So what we're gonna do is take you on a field trip under Don's Monaco here to show you what's involved in pulling and replacing one of these hoses, because sadly this 3/16 hydraulic line is not common in the excavator and backhoe business, and most of the mobile trucks that do hydraulic repairs, emergency stuff for tractors and things and heavy equipment, they don't have 3/16 stuff sitting on the shelf. Some of them have 1/4 inch. That's kind of where everything starts. But sadly, they don't have mobile equipment necessarily to do a 3/16 inch fitting. So getting just an end pressed on is not realistic. Now, I was going to try and drive this to a guy that says he could do it. However, as you'll see here in a moment, there's a complicating factor. Now, we've extended the generator, which makes this a little easier. The hydraulic system is here next to the generator, and you can see all the hoses going into it. The dilemma is there's 4 hoses here and 4 hoses on the bottom. We see a little bit of hydraulic oil down here. Now, I started looking to try and figure out which one was which, if they were labeled, and there are some stickers on these things. Let me reposition, bear with me as the camera gets crazy. Not exactly room for a full-size dude here. Now, all of these lines, these bundled up ones, that is all your hydraulic hoses, and they're all tightly zip tied and bundled. So if you think you're going to wiggle one and then follow it from here to there to there, and now we're paring it down. We've got it going over here next to the air tanks, and now it's going from the air tanks. Now mind you, there's an axle in the way here that no 200-pound dude can really sneak under, so you got to go over the axle to that side, since I can't fit under here. But I'll slide just my arm and my phone under, and then up there are the hydraulic lines. Now you can see there's some abrasion on the line Let me get it zoomed in. That's from me wiggling and jacking on all these lines. So I'm hoping that the one with them wiggle marks is our hose. But you see how they're all oily? That generally indicates a leak. So these hoses may have multiple failure points on them. It's pretty uncommon, but as we can see, these zip ties are abrading the lines. Not necessarily a lot, but a little over time. So now we find ourselves in the dilemma of, if we pull this line, are there other ones leaking? I hope not. Maybe that's just some kind of grime or whatever, but it sure looks like it's wet with hydraulic oil. And then that goes to where your fuel tank is. Let me zoom back out. Anyways, there is where your fuel tank is, and on the other side of the water. So there's nowhere to get up and in there, and we've got to cut, I don't know, I'm gonna say 25 zip ties to free up all of these hoses, and then wiggle them one at a time and see which one is our hose. And then after doing that, we got to go back and zip tie all of them. But here's something else that I saw when I was looking for that label. Now we're behind the generator, and this is not necessarily something you'd check on an average oil change inspection, but on a major service we do check them usually. We look for leaks, and there's some signs of hydraulic oil here just from normal wear and tear. It looks like maybe there's a minor leak on the cap here, but here's where our hose is attached to the pump. Again, at first glance, you're seeing as though I would see doing an inspection on this thing. There's no real problems until we stick ourselves up between all the suspension and steering components, and then all the way up and in between here. Bear with me, I know it's crazy. It's the only way to see it. There we go. There's another line that's got a split in it. So its sheathing has broken, exposing the polycord reinforcement, and under that is the core. So you can see it's red. That is an indicator of hydraulic oil leaking through it. It's got red hydraulic oil. The sheathing in this thing is white. So there is another hose here that, looking straight up from the bottom, it would be a stretch to say that even a highly skilled technician such as myself or one of our crew would see that split when flashlighting and looking around. And everything in here is a little bit oily, which is not real uncommon on something this age. It's not out of the ordinary to see that. But to say that even doing a thorough inspection with a flashlight, you'd see, oh, frick, I can't even see it now. Stupid line that's cut. So we know that one needs to get replaced as well. So I'm gonna hope that the one that's split there is our hose that needs to be replaced. These things are fished all through the frame. You can see everything on here is just big old plate of spaghetti noodles wrapped around itself, except it's wiring and electricity and hydraulic fluid. And if you screw it up, people can crash or stuff breaks. So this is why a 15-minute press of a hydraulic hose fitting turns into an all-day project, because sadly this is not labeled. There's stickers on it that you can't read. So I just wanted you to see for yourself. Don, the video is really for you, but also anybody that's willing to sit through 9+ minutes of Hugh. So this is Hugh with Hugh Jass RV Repair, and as you can see, this has turned into a little bit of a debacle, but the good news is we specialize in it. We love these coaches. In fact, I love doing this. It's only about 105 here in the shop today, so it's a little bit of a break from being outside in the sun. We hope that you will subscribe to our YouTube and check us out, HughJassRVRepair.com.